Hey y'all, this is Marla K. I hope everybody is doing well. Got a story that I want to share with you from the Pacific Daily News, and it's about Section 8. This story came out on May the 3rd. I haven't really seen a whole lot of people talking about it, but it ties into the federal pauses, the doing away with a lot of the social programs that the government has been subsidizing for a lot of states and individuals for a long time. So we need to talk about this because it is going to increase the homelessness rate. It's going to create an issue where there are going to be cost burdens on people who have been receiving supports with rent. They're no longer going to be receiving those supports. So let's talk about it. All right. So this says, let me close this one out. Rental payments for Section 8 landlords were not deposited into their respective banking institutions on May the 1st as regularly scheduled, the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority said. The Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Housing Assistance Payment rental payments for May will be made no later than Thursday, May 8th, said in a release. At this time, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is unable to transmit Section 8 funds in advance as routinely scheduled, Gura said. And that's interesting because that's the same agency that I was doing work for that hasn't paid me yet. So, for whatever reason, housing is an issue, and we need to pay attention to that because that ties into the affordable housing, social housing type of thing that they're doing. And, you know, a lot of people are going to be impacted. A lot of people rely on Section 8 for housing. There are a lot of people who live in houses in communities all across the country who receive Section 8 vouchers. So eventually, landlords are not going to want to trust the government, and that is going to be a continued pattern where people are going to start not relying on the government. Let me turn this camera off because I think it's messing up my screen. Okay, so at this time, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is unable to transmit Section 8 funds in advance as routinely scheduled. So it says all other monthly rental payments going forward will resume as scheduled, Gura said. So Gura apologizes for the inconvenience and thanks everyone for their patience. If you should have any questions about HAP rental payments, please do not hesitate to contact Nicole Alejandro. Somebody made a comment here. Says this was unexpected. Landlords must pay their bills on time. No advance warning from Gura Section 8. Now I'm faced with additional charges from my bank because money from Gura was not sent on time. Plan to make my rentals to military market. At least they are on time. Well, that's a stupid thing to say because it also comes from the government. So if the government is going to stop paying for those types of programs, even for military, then you're up the creek, and that's the goal. So the goal is to make individuals who own property lose that property because they need us in these affordable housing communities, mixed housing developments, 15-minute city type of things, eating Soylent Green under 24-hour surveillance in open air prison. So let me show you something else that I got today. Shelter Force is having a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and they're talking about housing as public good, common good, same thing. The state of social housing today. I've never heard the term social housing until I saw this. This meeting is today at 2 o'clock. So it says, what do we mean by social housing in the United States? How has it worked, and how can and should it be expanded? Join organizers, practitioners, and authors. Now, why do authors get to have a seat at the table? Notice there are no consumers who are at the table. And so again, when it comes to your vote, it doesn't matter. When it comes to your citizenry, it doesn't matter. Decisions are being made for this next season or industrial revolution or what this new world order that don't include you. And so you have to work to find out information on your own so you'll know what's going on. So it says you're going to join these organizers to discuss how to develop a vision and practical steps to build caring communities that meets everyone's housing needs. And so the speakers are, Kristen Hackett, My Eden Voice, community organizer, Jonathan Tarleton, author of Homes for Living, The Fight for Social Housing, and a New American Commons. I'm gonna take you to his page because I'd never heard of him. But it's interesting that these people are talking about housing, and we're not hearing more about it. As housing is tied to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need housing, shelter, food, and love to do all the other things in society. And so they're pulling the rug from under a lot of people, landlords and residents, who rely on these social safety nets. And most people are not really aware of what's happening. It's happening quietly, and it's happening quickly. And in my opinion, I put my tinfoil hat on, we're preparing for a big old transition in the next 2 quarters of 2025, from July to September, and then from September to December. It's going to be really rocky. So I think we're going to have a really rocky summer and a really rocky winter going into 2026. I do not believe that they are building up all these high-rise apartment complexes all over the place and reinforcing these utility poles and installing all this internet for nothing. I think they have a plan. They are on time. It's happening right before our eyes, and people are just not paying attention to it. So even in the little rural area where I live, not here in this particular county, but 20 minutes over, they are basically throwing up apartments like it is nobody's business. And also reinforcing those utility lines. I have a friend that's a lineman, and he's like working around the clock. He's like, I'm tired. We work all the time. It's you can make all the overtime you want. It's a lot of work to be done, and they are on a time schedule. So in my opinion, something is coming. Don't know whether it's natural or whether it is man-made, but we're going to have chaos, and it's going to include housing. It is going to include food, water, shelter, those types of things. And people who rely on government assistance are going to really struggle. So again, if you are living in a large city, I recommend you trying to get out of it quickly as possible, if at all possible. And again, if you are in a space where you can grow some food, do that, because you cannot function without housing and shelter. You may not even be able to keep your housing, which is why I'm suggesting that you try to put as much stuff in movable containers if you rely on a job or public assistance subsidizing of your housing and other means. I think you should do that. Because we don't know what's going to happen. Like I've been telling y'all for years now, everybody should have a tent or two, depending on how big your family is. You should have tarps and tents and ways to keep yourself, out of the elements, portable food, dry, non-perishable stuff. But it's going to come to that. And it's going to be like the Hunger Games and the Purge all in one. It's going to be bad. You can see it already. So these people here, we don't know who they are. They're just having this discussion about housing. So I went to see about this guy, Jonathan Tarleton, Homes for Living. So it has about, essays, projects, and events. So I'm going to go to about. So he's an urban planner. So this is Jonathan Tarleton. He's an urban planner. So this is somebody who will be working with your local city or county development, sneaking and doing this social housing. And this is what they've been doing. They've been doing it for seniors. They've been doing it for just regular folk, and it's already in the works. You can see it. If you live in a place where you see a lot of constructions of apartment buildings going up, these people are doing this. We don't know where they come from, but they have to be a part of this new global order, especially for the West. So it says, I'm an urban planner, designer, and writer based in Washington, D.C. I seek out opportunities for transformative change that reckon with enduring inequities of race and class and strengthen economic democracy, social infrastructure, and community capacity. My work spans the fields of economic development, housing, and narrative change. I write broadly about stewardship of place, land, institutions, and communities. My book, Home for Living, on the struggle among residents of two social housing co-ops as they decide whether to privatize and profit from the public goods they own, is available from the Beacon Press. So it says, read my newsletter for my latest publications, lino cut prints, and cute photos of my cat, Keiju, whatever. And then it says, work with me via All Commons. So y'all know I got to go to All Commons. All Commons is a consulting practice of John Tarleton. He provides strategy, research, and project management services on inclusive economic development, social housing creation, maintenance, community planning, plus engagement, and real estate development that supports just and resilient places. So y'all know that resilient word is tied to the UN's mission, the Sustainable Development Goals. Don't have nothing here. Just fill out this thing and give me your email address, and I guess they'll send you a newsletter. So what's interesting is the past clients include the U.S. Economic Development Administration, Seed Commons, don't know what Seed Commons is, Metro West Collaborative Development, don't know where that is. Let me see. So you be going down a rabbit hole doing this. Increasing access to housing. They collaborate with Metro West communities. I don't know where Metro West is. It doesn't say. So it says Metro West CD recognizes that our community is composed of homeowners, tenants, landlords, and large and small residential developers, and they all have an important role to play. So this is how they, like I said, backdoor citizens who don't know what's going on, don't go to any meetings, don't go to any planning and development that's going on in their city or county. And these people are subverting the will of the people, going directly to the politicians and getting their agendas, not only pushed but developed, because they have found a way to subvert the public. Let me see what America Cheese is, because I don't know. AmericaCheese.org. Building a good jobs economy for America. America Cheese vision is to help local communities and states ensure that everyone has a clear path to a good job and a career with upward mobility, no matter who they are, where they live, or whether they have a college degree. The U.S. is transitioning to a fast-paced innovation and knowledge economy, but education and workforce systems haven't kept up, leaving many workers and communities behind. So it says we help local and state partners align the supply of talent with high growth economic sectors and in-demand occupations to unlock opportunities, focusing on overlooked communities and the people who have long called those places home. So what they do, they support state and regional intermediaries, inform and champion bipartisan public policy, and share what works. So it tells you they are an outstanding team of advisors, partners that include expert practitioners in regional, economic, and workforce development, city planning, education, state and local development, public policy, and strategic communications. And this person is a veteran social entrepreneur who has launched a series of successful nonprofit organizations focused on workforce development and education, and who has championed bipartisan public policy in workforce development. So as you can see, McKinsey & Company, that's all you need to see right there. If you know anything about McKinsey & Company, that's all you need to see here. That's the government. The government. The government. Brookings Institute. Y'all, you should know about the history of Brookings. Center for Inclusion Growth. Look like MasterCard symbol, but that's just me. Blue Meridian, you need to understand who those people are. So anyway, there's a lot here, but anyway, I suggest you go and look at this site more, because there are a lot of things there, lots and lots and lots of things. And then there's one more thing that I wanted to click on. So this guy who wrote this book says, I've served as chief researcher and contributor for Nonstop Metropolis, a New York City atlas, an exploration of the city in maps and essays from UC Press and editors. So it says, I currently support cities across the U.S. to build more resilient, prosperous communities as a senior advisor at the Bloomberg Center for Public Innovation at Johns Hopkins. So this is the dude right here. Y'all, this stuff is so wild, so detailed. I hate going down these rabbit holes because I always learn something new. It's like my brain already big. I don't need nothing else on it, but can't help it. Like, can't stop, won't stop, like Diddy. You need to know what's happening with housing, and this is the future of housing. You see how secretive it is. These people who don't look like us are making plans about our communities, and we have no say in it whatsoever. So I'm telling you this so that you can start being either a part, getting a seat at the table. Knowing is half the battle, because even if you can't, they don't let you have a seat at the table, you know, so you can tell people in your community. You can teach them how to look out for what's coming. You can teach them how to go to your county council and city council meetings and hold these people accountable. Again, you know, everybody's looking for an exodus. Everybody's looking for the gathering. Everybody's looking for, you know, us to not be here. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what's going to happen, but I want you to be aware that these plans are being made for you, about you, and you don't have a seat at the table. So this is about housing. We need housing. Housing is getting ready to change in a drastic way. So just make sure you are aware of what's happening, and click on these links on this page, and go to you know, these sites, because these people proud of their stuff, honey. They proud of it. They telling you, nobody's hiding nothing. If you don't know in 2025, it is because you are woefully ignorant and intentionally ignorant, because they have all the information out here. All you got to do is start going down the rabbit holes. With that said, I just wanted to share with you that housing is getting ready to be a huge issue, and we need to understand what's going on. And then you see this site right here where it talks about America Achieves and jobs and different things. A lot of people don't even know this exists. Like, these things that are going on through workforce development, we need to really understand what's happening so that we can align ourselves with it and take advantage, instead of having the jobs go away, the old jobs go away, and not knowing what's coming for the future so that we can't prepare for it. Whether you lose your job and you have to go through workforce development programs, or if you're preparing your children who are in school, they need to know what's going to be in demand so that you can set yourselves up to be advantageous if you're going to have to be working in the workforce. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all, that going down this rabbit hole about housing took us into urban development, social housing, and how all these things are coming together behind the scenes. I know a long time ago I did a video, maybe 2 years ago, about how these public-private ventures are doing, and going to politicians and subverting the will of the people. So the people don't really know what's coming, and they're not, notice these, none of these buzzwords and none of these things are talked about in the mainstream media. This is why it's so dangerous. But again, this is why I always tell y'all, whatever they're talking about, you need to look the other direction and see what's going on. And this is just a classic example of how something as vital and essential as housing is, caught up in this whole transitioning thing. So anyway, make sure you like this video, leave your comments below. Tell me, if you've seen anything in your communities, if you understand what's going on with housing, how important it is, and make sure that you are actually, keeping watch of what's going on when it comes to these types of things. Because you may think it don't impact you, but it's going to impact you if a bunch of people are homeless, and they're looking for some place to stay, or looking to come get what you got, or looking to break in your house. That's why you should care. So that's, reason number one, you should be advocating and figuring out what's going on. But also number two, it's going to be tied to this new world order, and you need to know what's going on, because we don't know what's going to happen. We're still in captivity, so we got to pay attention to what's happening and prepare for it. So anyway, like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so that you will be notified each and every time I upload new content. Follow me on Odyssey and Rumble and on Instagram. The links are in the description. Make sure you are just staying up to date with what's going on. I can't stress it enough. It's so much stuff happening. So while you're looking at Diddy, these people over here planning homelessness, the planning for the homelessness crisis that's coming, to take away housing from landlords and have people evicted and staying on the streets or whatever. It's early in this administration, so you have to know that this country doesn't have any money. It's going to collapse this system so that it can bring on this beast system. You need to be ready. Be ready for everything. If you'd like to support this channel financially, this is a labor of love. I do not have any sponsors, and I do not get compensated for the work that I do. So if you'd like to support me, I have an emergency assistance GoFundMe campaign. The link is at the very top of the description box, as well as my links to my Venmo and my coffee. If they can raise, them folk can raise $700,000 so white lady can use the N-word, surely I should be able to raise $1,500. And I've had my campaign for 2 weeks and I haven't even reached half my goal. So as you can see, people's priorities are horrible, and this is another reason why America's gonna be judged. Anywho, support me. Support the little guy who's trying to do good in the neighborhood. Lastly, continue to prep, continue to pray, continue to seek the Most High, obey those laws, statutes, and commandments, keep that Sabbath, get into your word and understand what's coming. And again, you got to keep watch. You can't rely on everybody to tell you everything, because there's a lot of things that we're missing. I'm missing a bunch of stuff because I just have to check out. I got my own problems, but I still care. And again, housing is going to impact everyone. So nobody can afford to sleep on housing. I don't care how wealthy you are. I don't care how poor you are. We need to keep up with this because their goal is to put us into these 15-minute cities, have us eating Soylent Green, and under 24-hour surveillance. So if you don't know what the battle is, you don't know how they're planning, you're not fighting these things, and they've already passed agendas with your city and county council, or your planning and development boards for your area, there's not much you can do. But if you can get in there and stop it, that's great. All right, this is Marley K. Love y'all, and I am out here.